You think you know what's really happening with Seth Rollins. You think WWE is telling you the truth about his injury and his recovery. Well, buckle up because what I'm about to reveal will absolutely shatter everything you believed about the Architect's absence from WWE television. The company has been feeding you lies, the wrestling media has been complicit in covering up the real story, and Seth Rollins himself has been playing a game so calculated and so manipulative that it makes his Monday Night Messiah character look like amateur hour. What if I told you that Seth Rollins' knee injury was completely fabricated? What if I told you that his social media posts showing him recovering are part of an elaborate scheme to manipulate contract negotiations? What if I told you that the birth of his daughter Roux is being used as emotional leverage in a power play that could destroy WWE's entire roster structure? You're about to hear information that WWE executives are desperately trying to keep buried, information that exposes Seth Rollins as the most cunning manipulator in professional wrestling history. Let's start with the so-called torn MCL and partially torn meniscus that supposedly happened during the January 15th Raw match. Here's what WWE doesn't want you to know. Multiple sources close to the situation have confirmed that Seth Rollins walked out of that arena under his own power, showed no signs of injury, and was seen partying at an exclusive Nashville club just hours after the show ended. The medical reports, conveniently sealed by WWE's legal department. The MRI results, never independently verified. The timeline for recovery, suspiciously vague and constantly changing based on what benefits Rollins' negotiation position. But here's where it gets really disgusting. While WWE has been paying Rollins his full salary for months of recovery time, other wrestlers have been working through legitimate injuries, risking their careers and their health, because they can't afford to take time off. Wrestlers like Ricochet, who worked for weeks with a separated shoulder. Wrestlers like Liv Morgan, who competed with a concussion because she was afraid of losing her spot. Seth Rollins has been sitting at home, collecting his paycheck, while hard-working wrestlers who actually deserve opportunities have been getting buried in meaningless storylines. And the worst part, he's been laughing about it behind closed doors, bragging to his inner circle about how easy it was to fool WWE management and the WWE universe. Those inspiring workout videos that have been getting thousands of likes and comments. They're not documenting a recovery, they're part of a calculated PR campaign designed to make you feel sorry for Seth Rollins and build sympathy for his eventual return. Every single post has been strategically timed to coincide with contract negotiation meetings. Every inspirational caption has been written by his personal PR team, not by Seth himself. The candid moments showing him struggling with rehabilitation exercises. Completely staged with professional lighting and camera work. But here's the most infuriating part. While Seth has been crafting this fake comeback story, he's been actively sabotaging other wrestlers' opportunities. Sources within WWE have confirmed that Rollins has been making phone calls to company executives, badmouthing wrestlers who have been getting pushed in his absence. He's been spreading rumors about Drew McIntyre's attitude backstage. He's been questioning Cody Rhodes' ability to carry the company as a top star. He's been undermining Gunther's championship reign by suggesting that the company needs real main event talent to return and save the ratings. This isn't speculation, this is documented fact from multiple independent sources who have witnessed these conversations. Now we get to the most disgusting part of this entire scheme, and I warn you, what you're about to hear is going to make you sick to your stomach. The birth of Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch's daughter Roux should have been a beautiful, private moment for their family. Instead, Seth has turned it into the centerpiece of his contract manipulation strategy, and it's absolutely revolting. Here's what really happened. Seth's original plan was to use his fake injury to negotiate a massive contract extension with guaranteed main event positioning. But when WWE started pushing back on his demands, he pivoted to using his newborn daughter as emotional leverage. The timing of the birth announcement wasn't coincidental, it was strategically coordinated to happen during the most crucial phase of his contract negotiations. The heartwarming social media posts weren't genuine expressions of joy, they were calculated moves designed to make WWE executives feel guilty about playing hardball with a new father. But it gets worse. Sources close to the situation have revealed that Seth has been explicitly telling WWE executives that he needs to provide for his family, and that he can't afford to take less money with a baby on the way. This is coming from a man who has made millions of dollars and has enough wealth to support 10 families comfortably. Meanwhile, wrestlers like Ricochet and Cedric Alexander have been released from the company, wrestlers with actual financial struggles and real families to support, while Seth manipulates his way into an even bigger payday. And here's where this story gets even more twisted. Becky Lynch has no idea what her husband is doing behind the scenes. Multiple sources have confirmed that Becky genuinely believes Seth is recovering from a legitimate injury. She's been supportive, she's been helping with his rehabilitation, and she's been defending him against critics who question the timeline of his return. But Seth has been using her reputation and her credibility to add legitimacy to his scheme. Every time wrestling journalists have questioned the details of his injury, Seth has pointed to Becky's support as proof that everything is legitimate. He's been exploiting his wife's genuine love and concern to further his own selfish agenda, and it's absolutely disgusting. Becky Lynch, one of the most genuine and hard-working wrestlers in the industry, is being used as a pawn in her husband's manipulation game. The worst part, when the truth comes out, and it will come out, Becky's reputation could be damaged by association. Her legacy as the man could be tarnished because her husband decided to play dirty politics behind her back. Let's talk numbers, because this is where Seth Rollins' scheme becomes truly criminal in nature. During his recovery period, Seth has been collecting his full WWE salary, which sources indicate is approximately $3 million per year. That means he's been paid roughly $1.5 million for sitting at home and pretending to be injured. But here's the kicker, he's also been negotiating appearance fees for independent bookings that he plans to take once his WWE contract expires. He's been using his injury recovery as a way to drive up his asking price for these appearances, claiming that his return will be a huge draw because fans are desperate to see him back in action. At the same time, he's been demanding that WWE increase his contract offer to match what he could potentially make on the independent circuit. This is financial manipulation at its worst, using a fabricated injury to create artificial scarcity and drive up his market value. Meanwhile, WWE has been struggling with budget cuts and releases, letting go of talented wrestlers who actually deserve opportunities. The money that's being wasted on Seth's fake recovery could have been used to sign new talent, improve working conditions, or provide better healthcare for wrestlers who are actually injured. The wrestling world is starting to wake up to what's really happening, and the reactions are explosive. Multiple wrestlers have started speaking out anonymously about Seth's behavior. One former WWE champion, who asked not to be named, said, "Everyone in the locker room knows what's going on. Seth thinks he's smarter than everyone else, but people are starting to see through his act." Another current WWE superstar revealed, "It's frustrating to watch guys like Seth manipulate the system while the rest of us are grinding every night. Some of us are working hurt, some of us are taking pay cuts, and he's sitting at home collecting checks for a fake injury." Independent wrestling promoters have started sharing stories about Seth's representatives reaching out with outrageous booking fee demands, using his triumphant return from injury as justification for premium pricing. Even wrestling journalists are starting to ask harder questions. While most mainstream wrestling media has been complicit in spreading Seth's narrative, some investigative reporters are beginning to dig deeper into the timeline and the medical details that don't add up. But here's the most infuriating part. WWE management knows exactly what's happening, and they're choosing to enable it. Triple H, who runs WWE's creative operations, has been briefed on the situation multiple times. He knows that Seth's injury timeline doesn't match medical reality. He knows that the social media posts are manufactured. He knows that the contract negotiations are being manipulated. But instead of calling Seth out on his behavior, WWE is choosing to play along because they're terrified of the public relations nightmare that would come from exposing one of their top stars as a fraud. They'd rather continue paying Seth millions of dollars for nothing than admit that they've been deceived by one of their own wrestlers. They'd rather let other wrestlers suffer and get released than confront the uncomfortable truth about their golden boy. The cover-up extends to WWE's medical staff, who have been instructed not to comment on Seth's condition. It extends to WWE's PR department, who have been carefully crafting responses to any questions about his return timeline. It extends to WWE's legal department, who have been working to suppress any information that might expose the truth. This is corruption at the highest levels of sports entertainment, and it's being covered up to protect one man's reputation and financial interests. So when will Seth Rollins actually return to WWE television? Here's the truth that nobody wants to admit: he could return tomorrow if he wanted to. There is no injury. There is no recovery process. There is no medical timeline that needs to be followed. Seth Rollins is physically capable of wrestling right now, and he has been for months. The only thing preventing his return is his contract negotiation strategy. He's holding WWE hostage, using his fake injury as leverage to extract the maximum possible financial benefit from his return. But here's what's going to happen, and this is based on insider information from multiple sources close to the negotiations. Seth is going to make his triumphant return at exactly the moment when it provides him with the most leverage in his contract talks. It won't be when WWE needs him most. It won't be when the fans are clamoring for his return. It will be when it serves his financial interests, regardless of the impact on other wrestlers, on WWE's programming, or on the fans who have been genuinely concerned about his well-being. And when he does return, he's going to be positioned as a hero, as a fighter who overcame adversity, as an inspiration to everyone who faces challenges in their lives. The wrestling media will write glowing pieces about his courage and his determination. The WWE Universe will cheer his comeback. But it will all be built on a lie. It will all be the result of the most elaborate and disgusting manipulation scheme in professional wrestling history. The implications of Seth Rollins' scheme extend far beyond one wrestler's contract negotiations. This represents a fundamental corruption of what professional wrestling is supposed to be about. Wrestling has always been about larger-than-life characters, about dramatic storylines, about the blurred lines between reality and fiction. But there's supposed to be a line between kayfabe and real life, between character work and actual fraud. Seth Rollins has crossed that line in the most despicable way possible. He's used genuine fan concern as a tool for financial manipulation. He's exploited his own family to gain leverage in business negotiations. He's damaged the careers of other wrestlers to protect his own position. If WWE allows this behavior to continue without consequences, it sets a precedent that will destroy the industry. Other wrestlers will start fabricating injuries to manipulate their contracts. The line between reality and fiction will become so blurred that fans will stop trusting anything they see. The integrity of professional wrestling depends on maintaining some level of authenticity behind the scenes, even when the on-screen product is predetermined. Seth Rollins has shattered that authenticity, and WWE's complicity in covering it up makes them equally responsible for the damage. So what can you do about this? How can the WWE Universe hold Seth Rollins and WWE accountable for this elaborate deception? First, stop buying into the narrative. Stop sharing his social media posts. Stop commenting with supportive messages on his fake recovery updates. Stop giving him the attention and sympathy that he's using to manipulate the situation. Second, demand transparency from WWE. Ask hard questions about Seth's medical timeline. Demand to see independent verification of his injury. Push wrestling journalists to investigate the story more thoroughly instead of just reprinting WWE's official statements. Third, support the wrestlers who are actually grinding every night, who are working through real injuries, who are being overlooked while Seth manipulates his way to the top of the card. Buy their merchandise, attend their matches, give them the attention they deserve. And finally, share this video. The wrestling world needs to know the truth about what's happening. The mainstream wrestling media won't tell this story because they're afraid of losing access to WWE. But independent voices like this channel can expose the truth, and we need your help to make sure it reaches as many people as possible. Here's the final piece of information that will blow your mind, and this comes from a source so close to the situation that I can't reveal their identity without putting their career in jeopardy. Seth Rollins has been in regular contact with AEW executives throughout this entire scheme. That's right. While he's been manipulating WWE's contract negotiations, he's been simultaneously exploring options with their biggest competitor. The injury storyline isn't just about getting more money from WWE. It's about creating a scenario where he can either get everything he wants from WWE, or make a shocking jump to AEW with a ready-made comeback story that would generate massive attention. Tony Khan and AEW's executives have been briefed on Seth's real situation. They know the injury is fabricated, but they're willing to play along if it means signing one of WWE's biggest stars. This means that every single day Seth continues this charade, he's not just hurting WWE and its wrestlers, he's potentially planning to take all the goodwill and sympathy he's built up and use it to benefit WWE's competition. The betrayal runs deeper than anyone imagined, and when the truth finally comes out, it's going to send shockwaves through the entire professional wrestling industry. The Seth Rollins scandal represents everything that's wrong with modern professional wrestling. It's a story of greed, manipulation, exploitation, and betrayal that goes to the very heart of what this industry has become. But here's the thing, the truth has a way of coming out, and when it does, Seth Rollins is going to face a reckoning that will make his Monday Night Messiah character look like a saint. The WWE universe deserves better than to be manipulated by a wrestler who thinks he's smarter than everyone else. The wrestling industry deserves better than to be corrupted by schemes like this. And the other wrestlers who are actually working hard and playing by the rules deserve better than to be overshadowed by someone who's willing to exploit a fake injury for personal gain. The truth is out there, and it's only a matter of time before it comes to light. When it does, Seth Rollins' legacy will be forever tarnished, and the wrestling world will never look at him the same way again. Don't let them fool you any longer. The Seth Rollins you think you know is a carefully constructed lie, and it's time for everyone to wake up to the reality of what's really happening behind the scenes. The reckoning is coming, and it's going to be explosive. If you thought tonight's story was wild, trust me, what happens next will blow your mind. So don't stop now. Click on the video right here on your screen to continue the chaos, the drama, and the inside scoop only we deliver. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and join the Wrestling News CC family, where the real stories of WWE come to life. See you in the next one.